More than 23,000 people have tested positive for the coronavirus in Maryland. However, hospitalizations went down, and so did the amount of patients who are in the intensive care unit. Hello, everybody. I'm Denise Koch.
And I'm Rick Ritter. Now, remember, there's a lot more testing taking place right now in Maryland, and confirmed cases saw the biggest jump since this pandemic began. But the hospitalization numbers that the governor is certainly keeping a close eye on, they have dropped by 43 patients.
And WJZ is live right now with extensive coverage. We begin with investigator Mike Helgren. He's at City Hall with the latest developments. Mike?
Denise and Rick, the mayor urged people to continue to social distance over the weekend. He also mourned those we've lost during this pandemic. And he talked about taking a moment, an hour from now, to participate in what's called Charm City Cheers, where people stop and then honk, clap, and cheer to honor frontline healthcare workers.
That's 102 families in our city that are hurt and grieving, and I grieve along with them.
Mayor Young paid tribute to the 102 Baltimoreans who have died from COVID-19 and said there are no current plans to ease restrictions in the city.
All the health experts that I've been listening to have said that it's too early.
Outside City Hall, protesters called for more safeguards for those who are working right now. Maryland reports its largest ever jump in confirmed coronavirus cases. The number of negative tests stands at almost 100,000, up nearly 5,000 from the day before. It shows Maryland has ramped up its testing capacity. Governor Larry Hogan says that's because of new tests he obtained from South Korea. They remain under National Guard protection. Hogan initially feared the federal government would seize them.
This was an enormously valuable payload. It was like Fort Knox to us.
Many of those tests will go to nursing homes. Sage Point Senior Living in La Plata has had the most deaths of any facility. 80-year-old William Goldsmith is among the more than 30 people who have died there.
About an hour after I left him, he passed away. It's not going to bring my father back, but going forward, there needs to be a lot of improvements.
Maryland's only Republican Congressman, Andy Harris, wants the governor to reopen parts of the state. He spoke to Newsmax earlier this week.
Well, the problem is that the governor is treating the state as one homogeneous state, but it's not. It actually has rural areas where the prevalence of the disease is quite low.
The number of poultry plant workers who've contracted COVID-19 in his Eastern Shore district has risen to 279. And Governor Hogan says the CDC is on the ground to stem this outbreak. Now, President Trump will leave the White House for the first time in more than a month, and he will spend his time in Maryland at Camp David, what his aides describe as a working trip where he'll speak to heads of state. Reporting live at Baltimore City Hall, Mike Helgren, WJZ.